If you can kindly go over and check my Patreon page out. I do a lot of work on that Patreon page for you guys, and I'm going to continue doing so. Also, there's the Pen Battle 3 contest, the ratchet strap giveaway, and stuff like that. So run over to patreon.com, Texas Beach Bomb, and take a look at it and see if it's something you're interested in. If not, then just click the like or dislike button for me. Today we're going to be shooting a video that's been highly requested by a lot of subscribers, and even yesterday somebody requested this type of video. Fishing still stinks down here. The surf is pretty wild today, heavy winds, but the water clarity is getting better. I didn't expect that. It's probably about a 5 right now, maybe as high as a 6. I bet it gets better as you go down Padre. So we're on the National Seashore, Padre Island National Seashore, and today I'm going to go over how not to get stuck on the beach, where to camp if you're worried about high tides coming up to the dunes and stuff like that. For those of you that don't have four-wheel drive and you're worried about getting stuck, most of the time down here, the first 5 miles is pretty good. Today it was a little sketchy in some areas, but the tide's going out, so it's going to get better. If you're worried about water coming up to the dunes and you're coming down here camping, let me show you an excellent spot that I found, you know, between the 1 and 5 marker that you need to look for when you come camping. You always want to camp next to the dunes. Don't camp in the middle of the beach or near the water. Right here is a really good spot that you could set up camp. See how it goes back into the dunes a little bit? So you don't want to go way back there into the dunes because you'll get in trouble for that. I actually think I camped at this spot one time because I remember it kind of looks familiar. But you can see this layout right here. This is what you want to look for when you're coming down the National Seashore, whether you have four-wheel drive or you don't have four-wheel drive. First 5 miles are usually pretty good. What I would do is if I was going camping right now, I would have drove down this beach until I found a spot like this. This is a perfect spot right here to camp. You can see how high the water came up right there. On some days, that water, especially like when there's a low pressure, sometimes that water will come way up here. But it usually won't come way up in this area here. Very rarely, unless there's a storm in the Gulf. This is a perfect example of a place to camp on pins where you don't have to worry about the water coming up in the middle of the night while you're sleeping. I don't own the beach. I don't make the rules on these beach. I'm just letting you know some of the suggestions that'll make your trip a lot easier. People aren't yelling at you and stopping and cussing you out and stuff like that, because they will sometimes. See if we can find some other spots. I'll give you an example and go over some other things that you don't want to do when you're on pins, Padre Island National Seashore, and things that you want to do.
Hoy pienso en qué pasó y cómo me afectó las horas que pasé en aquel bus. No entiendo bien por qué mi abuelo distraído se bajó sin mí. Yo seguí.
Lots of debris out on the beach, lots of trees everywhere. Everywhere, guys. You can see where I'm at, about the 5-mile marker. I stopped here for a reason, and we'll get into that in a few seconds. A lot of you guys think that Padre Island National Seashore is over in Port Aransas and stuff like that. It's not. In order to get to Padre Island National Seashore, you take Park Road 22. All you do is go over the JFK Causeway where Snoopy's and Doc's and just keep going straight all the way. Don't turn left to go to Port Aransas. Don't turn right. Just keep going straight all the way. Now you're going to run into an entrance, a little ranger station, and they're going to charge you $10 per vehicle. And if you're camping, they're going to charge you $25 for a week. So what I usually do is I always just get a yearly card because I live down here. It's like $43 or $48. So if you plan on coming down here multiple times camping, you might want to just get that card because that's a full year And if you came down here camping twice, you'd spend 50 bucks. So just go ahead and get the card. You can get online and get it. If you decide to venture past this point in any kind of vehicle, or you're actually out here in the first 5 miles, you need to invest in a tow kit right here. This is fairly cheap. I can't remember. I think I paid less than 100 bucks for it, but it's got a tow strap and everything you need to get yourself towed out of here. I always keep this because I may run into somebody that needs some help getting out, so I have this, and I may need help someday getting out as well. I'll put the link in the description to this one. I got it off Amazon. It's fairly cheap. I also carry a battery charger that's battery operated. I carry some jumper cables. I don't carry a shovel in my Jeep, but when I come out here camping, there's always got to be a noisy seagull somewhere. Hey, dude, get lost. Always. And I know some of you guys enjoy hearing them, but it drives me insane. There's some things you need, especially if you come camping. Always carry a shovel, which you should have if you're camping, because you're going to have to dig holes out here and bury your stakes or whatever. 2x4 or 1x6, something that you could slide underneath the tire in case you get stuck. Every video I see on YouTube, people coming down here that are not, that don't live down here, the very first thing at the bathrooms I see them do is letting air out of their tires. Every one of them do that. And I don't see any reason why to let air out of your tires. I've never once let any air out of my tires whatsoever. And I've been down through here, I can't tell you how many times. Never got stuck, never had any issues whatsoever. And I've been in some pretty deep sand where I was a little worried that I was going to get stuck. So I've never ever had to let air out of my tires at all. I don't see any of the locals doing it here. I just see people that are from out of town. You want to make sure you have a full tank of fuel before you hit this beach. You can make it all the way down to Port Mansfield jetties on a full tank of gas and back. Make sure that you read this sign because it's very important. I see people all the time go past this sign in little two-wheel drive vehicles like a Prius or a Toyota Camry, and they end up getting stuck not too far down the road. There you go, guys. I think that's a two-wheel drive vehicle right there. Let me know down in the comments if it's not. But you see them going past that 5 right there? What do you guys think of my Temu shirt? $4 for this shirt, man. I got like 20 of them, different ones. I look like a tourist. Don't be scared about getting stuck. If you're coming down here, if you got a four-wheel drive, just keep your wheels rolling. Try to run as close to the water as you can when you can do that, and try to stay out of the deep sand. Don't intentionally go into the deep sand. Northbound traffic all the time has the right-of-way. If you're coming up to an area where there's one smooth area where there's not deep sand and somebody's coming up northbound, just stop. Stop right there, pull over a little bit, let them get by, and then you go. That's the best thing to do, guys, instead of trying to go into the deep sand to get around them. If you're going to be camping out here, camp next to the dunes. Don't camp in the middle of the beach. And what that does is that forces the drivers to either go on the right side or the left side. Anytime I'm fishing, I'm parked right next to the water. If the tide starts to come up as I'm parked there, I move my Jeep back. Yes, it's a pain to move everything back and stuff like that, but out of respect for other people, that's what I do. And I don't want them coming in front of me because that's another thing. They'll take my lines down. And that right there is another thing, guys. And believe it or not, I've had that happen to me. If somebody is parked close to the water, you should never, ever, 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 ever go in front of their vehicle. Now, I've had that happen, and I've showed it in videos, especially over there in Port Aransas area. Somebody was way back here camping and had their lines across the road. It's unbelievable. That's the kind of stuff that you will see down here, and can't tell you how many times I've come down here, and out of nowhere, a kid just runs out. From behind a vehicle, or a dog runs out. The best thing to do if you're driving down this beach and you're looking for a camping spot, or maybe you're going fishing, is just anytime you come up on people on the beach, slow down, 5 miles per hour, and watch until you get past them, and then go on, move on. Some of the worst times to come camping out here would be anytime the wind is above 30 miles per hour. You will get sand all over everything. And if you have a convertible, you know, like my Jeep, overnight, it's gonna fill up with sand. It's unbelievable, guys. I would not come camping out here if the wind is predicted to be 30 miles per hour or plus. It'll be a nightmare. Trying to cook and all that is almost impossible. Check this out, guys. This is the camp. Woke up to this morning. Nothing but sand all over it. Nothing but sand all over the Jeep. It's about buried our fire pit. All up around the trailer. Come over here, everything's been knocked down. Covered with sand. Look at her car. The worst, and then I can't keep this thing up worth anything. You can see how I got it strapped here. All the seats are just covered with sand. Look at that, blowing sand. Whole entire Jeep. All up in there. But this ain't the worst part. Look at that. Sand every freaking where. All up in my Jeep. Unreal. All over everything. So let me make a suggestion to you guys. If it's 30, 40 mile per hour winds, don't come out here camping on Padre Island because you're gonna have one hell of a mess to clean up. Forcing people into the deep sand, that's just stupidity right there. If you're flying a kite, you're parked next to the water and you're flying a kite. That is one of my biggest pet peeves coming down this beach. I can't tell you how many times I've had my line cut from a line that's hooked to a kite. If you're gonna fly your kites, get as close to the dunes as you can, put your kite up, and then you don't have to worry about your kite being taken down. I have taken down probably a dozen of kites coming down this beach because people park next to the water and they fly their kites and they're down low, and my rod and reel stick up about 14 to 15 foot up in the air and they get the line. And when that happens, it'll usually cut every one of my lines on my poles. You want to make sure that you watch the weather before you come down here and go camping. If there is a storm out in the Gulf, you might as well just put your camping trip off for a week or so until the storm passes. Because what happens, that storm can be 200 miles out to sea. Water can be all the way up to the dunes the entire day. And a lot of times the national park will close the beach. They never used to. You used to be on your own. You want to check the weather before you come down here. You also want to check the tide information, and a good place to check the tides is tidesforfishing.com, I believe. And that will give you tides up to a week in advance. And you want to make sure that if you're going to venture down to Port Mansfield, you're coming back before the peak high tide. Because a lot of times you could be riding right up next here and just happen to stop and letting the water come up and go down and then go. So you want to make sure you watch the tides very closely if you're going to make the 55, 60 mile drive down to Port Mansfield. You also want to make sure that you watch out for turtle patrol down here. They come down here during I believe it's April to like June or July, something like that. They're always going back and forth in these four-wheelers, and kind of watch out for them. And then watch out for sea turtles. You don't want to run over a sea turtle. You'll feel bad. You can come out here and have a really good time and not worry about getting stuck in the sand as long as you're prepared. If you're prepared in case that happens, you don't have to worry about it. A lot of times if you get stuck and you got a shovel and you got a 1x6, you can pull yourself out of there, get yourself out of there with no problem. I always, as soon as I hit the beach, I'll put it in full-wheel drive. Don't wait until you get into a situation and then activate your four-wheel drive. It may be too late. Keep it in four-wheel drive, get yourself to where you're gonna go fishing or camping, and then you know, just have a good time. Between late October and all the way through January and February, if you're down past the 5 and you're way down there 20, 30, 40 mile marker, you might not see anybody for a couple of days. You want to make sure that, again, your vehicle is in good shape, because it could be 2 days before you see anybody down there, depending on the weather and stuff like that. Make sure you have plenty of food, plenty of water. Usually you won't have cell phone service out here, guys. I was actually surprised just now. I got a bunch of texts, and I'm at the 5. I know for sure once you get past the 5 and you go further down the island, you're not going to have any cell phone service. If anything happens down there, you're not going to be able to get a hold of anybody. Let people know where you're camping at. If you plan to camp around the 10-mile marker, then let your family, friends, and stuff like that know where you're going to be and when you plan on getting off the island. That way, if they don't hear from you, they could send somebody down here to find you. I have seen park rangers and border patrol down in that area sometimes, but they're not down there a whole lot. The hot spot down here for fishing is always going to be between the 20 and the 50 mile marker. Big shell, little shell, and what they refer to as the high banks down in that area. Man, oh, come on, come on, come on, come on. Tire yourself out, buddy. Come on. Got to get them in, guys. This is a big one. Look at that. Good size, really good size red, man. Nice, huh? Man, come on, guy. Gotcha. Look at that, guys. Oh, I got another one. And that's another dang ladyfish. Come on. Whoa, shoot. Ah. Look at the colors on this trout, guys. I mean, it's beautiful, man. That's perfect eating size there, man, but I don't know. I think he's big enough. Hooked up, guys. Something big. Oh, shoot. We are hooked up on something. Let's see what it is. Looks like it might be a mullet. Oh no, it's another trout. Look at this. Another good sized trout. Oh, he just spun off, but you guys can see him right there. Yeah, look at that. Wow, nice trout. Look at that, guys. Listen to it. During the spring and summer, there's always somebody coming down the beach that might be willing to pull you out if you have a tow strap, because not everybody has one. So always keep that stuff right there and you'll have a good time. These seagulls, they may be cute and cuddly looking, but they will steal your stuff, guarantee it. If they see a bag of potato chips, they'll find a way to get into it. So you want to just keep your eyes on the seagull. I've had many fish and bait stolen from those guys and some of my food stolen. You want to watch out for coyotes as well. You'll see them a lot at night and they will come around your campsite. So you want to make sure if you have a cooler, make sure it's all locked up and everything, because the raccoons, they'll figure out how to get that cooler open and take everything you have out of there. Back behind these dunes back here, I see a lot of kids go up and over it. A lot of people go over and I'm sure they're using a bathroom or whatever. But you need to watch out for rattlesnakes if you go up and over there. I've seen quite a few rattlesnakes back in there, and I've had a couple of them warn me. Camping out here is not really that tough. I prefer camping out here. I prefer fishing out here way more than between Port Aransas and Packery Channel. And you know, it's just so much better out here to camp, guys. It really is. So don't be scared that you're going to get stuck. Don't be scared that you're going to get bitten by a rattlesnake or some migrants are going to steal you and take you back to Cuba. Don't worry about any of that. Just come out here and have a good time. If you ever want to know when it's a good time to go surf fishing on Padre Island, all you got to do is go over to Nick Meyer's Facebook page. He always posts lives when he's heading to the beach, and if he's going fishing, you know it's a good time to go fishing. Go to his Facebook page, Follow him, and when you see a live, pack your stuff up and head to the beach, man, because the fish are on. If you follow me, I mean, I want you to follow me on Facebook, but you're not guaranteed to catch any fish. But if you follow him, you're guaranteed to go on a good day when you have a potential catching some fish. Hope you enjoyed my Temu shirt. Make sure you hit that like button down below, because I am on temporary layoff and this is my only income, and I make about 35 cents an hour, guys. So hit that like button for me. Again, post in the comments if you have any questions. I'll try to help you out. I don't know everything about this beach, but I've learned a lot since I've been down here, and I've camped out here multiple times. I had the Sea-Doo in Packery Channel yesterday. I went all the way through Packery Channel, went over by docks, went towards Baffin Bay, fished everywhere, guys. Multiple baits, spoons, shrimp lures, dead shrimp, whatever, and didn't catch anything but a big, huge blue crab. Did have it in the Gulf of Mexico, and you could see a little clip right here. Now I started going out there, the swells were 4 to 5 feet. And I started getting worried in the beginning, and then once I got out there, I said, oh heck no, man, this is way, way too windy and big, big swells. So I turned around, as you can see in the video, and headed back into Packery Channel. But I at least had it in the Gulf of Mexico. That's the very first time, guys. Have a good day. Have a good camping trip if you come out here. And we will see you next video. Peace, guys.